everybody, it's cold and raining out. I don't have a job this week, starting a new job next week. So I'm bored at home, so I figured we'd do some motorcycle bag reviews. These are the SW-Motech SysBag WP L bags from SW-Motech the Germans. And these are the bags that I run on my motorcycle. I purchased these last year, paid full price, full disclosure. I bought them. I don't have any sponsorships. I got to pump those numbers up here if you want to have them send me free stuff. Anywho, these are things I bought with my money. Figured I'd give you my thoughts on them. So the bags allegedly are fully waterproof. I have not had any issues with any water intrusion, so I think they live up to that standard. They've got on the external part of it a little MOLLE system. More on that later. Then they have little adjustment straps on the outsides, each side. There's 4 total, and so that way you can compress this bag or expand it as needed. This will go up to 40 liters of storage, and that's a pretty impressive amount for a bag this size. To get to the inside, there are 2 clasps on the top here. You undo those, and then there is a little external pocket here. It's not quite like a beaver tail style that like the Mosko Moto has. This one is constrained a little bit. There's an internal webbing here, so you can only get about this far of an opening, which is enough for a pair of shoes. Those fit in there nicely like that, and with a little adjustment, you can clasp that close there, and then that's about it. So you kind of space constrained at that outside part, but typically don't want to put too much stuff on the outside anyways. It's nice to be able to throw your wet, dirty stuff outside and not include that on the inside, the clean, dry part. Also on the inside of the bag, there is a little document pocket. It can fit a standard 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I almost forgot, inside the bag here, there is, on the top part of this lid, there is another little storage compartment in there as well. It's not very deep, but you can put some things you want hidden kind of out of sight there as well. Get the inside after the buckles are unstrapped here. Big Velcro on the outside, fold that over, and you have a pre-roll system here. Undo it, and you're in. Inside the bag is another bag, which is nice. This is a little removable tote bag, and it's got 2 little dividers in the inside of there. And these dividers are removable. They got Velcro on the outside, and the inside has the opposite Velcro piece all around the whole perimeter, so you can put this divider anywhere you want inside the bag, which is nice. I typically don't use these though. It depends on the setup. If I'm going camping, I got my tent in here, I got other things. I usually use one of them in one bag, and the rest is kind of open and free, but it's nice to give you 2. So this one's got 2. This one's going to have 2 in there as well. So 4 of these total with the set. Now they are unidirectional. You can see that the outside is straight this way, and the inside is straight here. The outside piece has a little contour to it, and that also exists on the bag as well, so that the bottom part of the bag kind of maintains a inward shape. So yeah, that's the system here. The other thing I like about these bags is their quick disconnect system here. So there is a metal plate that you can buy with these bags. It's not required, but if you buy it, some assembly required. You got to attach each 4 of these little plastic brackets, we'll call them, and they've got slots for spools, and those spools are on the luggage rack system. And you just go up to the bike and just drop this right in, and it clicks right in, and there's a little quick disconnect latch mechanism here, and that's how you take it off. So that's really nice, really handy. At the end of the day, you can just pop these right off, or often if I take my bike into the office, I can just take these bags off 2 seconds and carry them inside. I don't like leaving them out and about in the sun. No need to let these things sit out in the sun for no reason. So it's nice having that quick disconnect. I can just take this right in and have everything I need right off the bike. So pros and cons of these bags. I like that they have that external pocket, keeping wet and dirty things in there. Like I showed you, I typically shove a pair of shoes in there. I've also done like my tent rain fly when that was wet on the South Dakota trip. I was able to kind of fold that up and tuck that in here, keep it separated from the rest of my dry things. And that's a nice feature to have on a bag like this. The weight is excellent on these. These are very lightweight relative to other bags of this size. They weigh 9 pounds, including the metal bracket on the back side. So everything you see here, 9 pounds. The storage space inside of these is excellent. Those tab dividers, when you use them, they're great. If you don't need them, they come right out. And that's a really nice feature to have. That inner bag is nice so you can pull everything out. And given that it's a little more of a stiff, just grab it here. Given that it's a little more of a stiff component, it does add some rigidity to the soft bag. So I typically use these things inside at all times, and I'll take those bag dividers out if I don't need them. The things I don't like about it, the buckles here that they use for the 2 clasps at the top and for the clasp in the tri-roll, we'll call it, are unnecessarily complicated. What I mean by that, it's not a standard like buckle design, and I don't know why would you do this? Like they're kind of a, as you go to connect them, you end up having to like you're squeezing the outside of the buckle, and which then prevents it from clicking sometimes. And why just use a simple buckle? Use the simple buckle. What are we doing here? I don't like when people get cute with things. This is people getting cute with things. Don't do that. And I mentioned in the beginning, the video, that the outside of the bag had the Molly system. Molly. However, it's on the outside of the bag, and I don't see the benefit of having it here. When it's on the bike, you're going to be adding components to the external and growing the width of the bike, and I think that is a negative. So I don't see myself using that purely for the placement of there. There's other companies like those Mosko bags. They put the Molly system on the front and rear relative to the bike, and that keeps the overall width from not expanding, keeps that weight closer to the bike, which is nice. Downside here, we're expanding the width of the bike, putting more weight outside. So I will not be using these if I don't have to. So I mentioned that inner bag, while it's nice that it does have the handles, you can pull it out. It's not a fully enclosed bag. Some of the competitors do have that full system for their inner bag, which is nice to have. That way everything is still sealed, possibly waterproof, depending on the bag you get. Whereas this one, when you take things out, if you park at a hotel or your campsite and you take that tote out and you want to carry it somewhere, the whole top is exposed and you're potentially getting things wet, even though you made it the whole day, keeping them dry in here. That little bit would have helped if that tote was sealed. I understand, okay, yeah, you're saving weight, saving complexity of the parts, but would be cool to see. The material that they chose for this outside's got this abrasion resistance side of things. However, it holds dirt, and I've had a hard time cleaning these things. You could argue that's a good thing, so that way when I go to Starbucks and I take my bike there, I can kind of show everybody, like, hey, I off-rode the bike, look how dirty it is. But like I said, when I do take these into the office, I'm carrying these bags, they're showing some dirt, and it doesn't look the best at times. So it would be nice if that came off better. I've ran these things under the hose, soap and water, scrubbed them with towels and scrub brushes and whatnot, but they still, at the end, when they dry, there's still a bunch of water spots, kind of like that fine clay dissolving into water type things, and it ends up sticking to the material, staying there. So up to you to decide if it's a pro and con. If you're all about those off-road appearances, then these guys got you covered. But if not, it takes a little bit to clean them. So I got the bag here. I got the racks. The racks are SW-Motech racks, and you need those with the spools mounted on them in order for the quick catch system to work. So all it takes to get this on the bike is you line up the bottom two, you line up the top, and then it just snaps right into place. And now the bag is on here. It's a little loose right now, so I'll just tighten up these straps on the back, and now it's nice and firm there. So when you want to take the bags off, you just push the little thumb tab on the back, comes right off, and there you have it. So pretty happy with how that comes on and off. Sorry, it's been a while. Okay, So this is what the bike looks like with the bags on and the bike fully loaded with passenger. There is clearance to the foot pegs. I don't know, no complaints?
Nope.
No complaints from the back there. Amy's written on the back multiple times on this bike. We got cute matching outfits. But anywho, yeah, no, it works just fine. With my legs up here, it's no different than if the bags were off or on versus where her legs end up. They passenger approved. Okay, so durability of the bags, how they held up throughout the year of ownership with them. Overall, very well. There is no visual indication that I've laid these bags over, other than the dirt, which kind of just existed from taking these into muddy conditions. There's no tears, no scuffs to the outside materials here. This right side bag probably took the most damage from these 2 falls that I had out in South Dakota, and you can't tell at all. The only thing that has happened is that the back plate on this bag does now have a very, very slight bow to it. It's no longer flat. When these arrived, both these pieces of steel were perfectly flat. This one now has a slight bend to it. It has not impacted functionality at all. I didn't notice it until I started making this video and got looking a little closer, and I said, oh, that looks a little curved. So that's not a deal breaker for me. These you can buy separately as well, so if this did become further damaged, that can be replaced without having to rebuy everything, so that is nice. So I chose to go with these bags over the Mosko Moto, the Backcountry 35 liters for this bike for a couple reasons. So I did have a set of those Backcountry 35s on the KTM 890, which we don't talk about that bike anymore. It's vanished, it's gone, don't worry about it. But I had a set of those on the KTM 890, and they were a very quality, durable, heavily built bag. Emphasis on the heavy bag. Just for the bag alone, one side, without the external pocket, the one side would weigh 13.5 pounds. Compared to this here, with all the hardware included, we're only looking at 9 pounds. So, 9 pounds times 2, we're looking at 18. Versus the other side, 13.5 times 2, what are we looking at, 27 pounds. So, total savings of 9 pounds? Yeah, 9 pounds. So for a total weight savings of 9 pounds for the system, I think that's a valuable trade-off and a reason why I went with these. The other reason, I did have full intentions of taking those Mosko Moto bags and putting them on the Tenere, and I bought a set of the Outback Motortech, just standard square pannier racks. However, the fitment on those was poor. I had to do a lot of stressing of the members just to get it to fit on the bike. One of the bolts included in the kit was not straight at all. So I wanted nothing to do with those. I was very upset with the quality of them. Not to rant a little bit here, didn't really see the best customer service. I had to pay $80 to return damaged products, so yeah, I didn't like that. So I went back with the old tried and true SW-Motech system. I had these on, or I had the aluminum boxes on the V-SRAM, and decided to go with these. These came out at the beginning of last year. They look like exciting new product, so I went with these instead, and I've been pretty happy with them. Now the other nice thing about the SW-Motech system is I can add the aluminum boxes to the bike in the future without having to change the racks or any of those mounting spools that are there. They exist on the bike already, and I can interchange between soft bags and the aluminum boxes without having to change the racks on the bike, and that's a great feature to have. So that'll be a future upgrade. So those are my thoughts and experience with the SW-Motech SysBag WP L bag systems. I'm not going to tell you to buy them. I'm not going to tell you to not buy them. It's your money. You figure it out. But I've enjoyed them. I'd buy them again if they fix or change these buckles back to a normal buckle, other than these semi-flimsy things. I'd probably still buy it again, to be honest. I'm over the buckles, right? They're fine. Just, what are we doing here, right? Anywho, great product, pretty good quality. I like them. You decide. Thanks.